This conference will now be recorded.
Customer material info record, which is a very small concept. Later we'll be discussing about overview of a sales. First, let's try to understand what is sales and what are the elements in the sales. So just an introduction of the sales we'll be discussing once we finish CMIR. So what is CMIR? Why we need CMIR, the customer material info record? So we have customer master, right? And we also have material master. Certain things, let's say you want to give a choice at the customer and material level, which is not possible either at customer master or material master. Let's say customer master, I have a customer who is delivery priority is 01. Okay. But if this customer is buying some material called as A100, I want him to be delivery priority 2. I don't want him to be 1. So if I change in the material customer master to delivery priority 2, what happens? Anyone? What happens if I change this in the customer master itself? It would be applicable to every material this customer is buying, but I don't want that. I want this to be applicable only for this material, whatever he is buying. So this kind of incapability, which is at the customer master level or material master level, can be solved with a concept called as CMIR, that is customer material info record, right? So in the CMIR, how do we maintain it? With a transaction code called as VD51. VD51 is a transaction with which we maintain CMIR. And whatever the fields you will be seeing in the CMIR, there are total 9 fields in the CMIR. Out of the 9 fields, 7 fields comes from customer master, 1 field comes from material master, and 1 field is unique. 1 is unique, right? So whatever we will be maintaining, you already maintained it either in the customer master and material master, but now you want to overwrite it with customer and material combination. Right? So let's get into system and see what is VD51, the CMIR configuration. So VD51. So customer, I want it to be 1000, and sales organization, and you can maintain any records. So for this customer under this sales area, you can maintain any number of materials like that. If this customer is buying this material, I want it to be like this. Like you have lots of options, number of materials you can maintain. And see, in sometimes business, you have a wholesale kind of business, right? So in that businesses, what happens is customers will be having their own naming convention for the materials. That means, let's say you have a material called as aspirin. Okay, you have a material called as aspirin 100. This is the material you sell to customers. But there is one very big customer, very important customer. So this customer is telling that I cannot maintain this in my stock. I will be calling your material with a name called as SKU. SKU 100. I don't want to call your material aspirin 100. I will be maintaining in my records your material name as a SKU 100. What do you mean by SKU? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone in the retail industry? What is SKU?
SKU is keeping unit.
Stock keeping units. You can hear me, right, everyone? I could not hear you. Hope you can hear me well. Okay, yeah. So what is SKUs? SKUs is nothing but stock keeping units. What is stock keeping units? So you see big companies, what they do is which sells, like say you take Walmart, you take the Big Bazaar, you take some other big retailers. What they do is they maintain stock with their own name because they have hundreds, thousands of material, right? And there is a chance that so two materials from two different vendors can have same name. Okay, the name might be same. So to eliminate this ambiguity and to maintain stock well, what they do is they maintain stock in SKUs. And whenever they place an order to company, also they place in the same name. So let me show you something. What is SKU? So if you go for an online retailer, you see here this product. What is this product called as Apple MacBook Pro or this thing? And what is the model of this particular laptop? It is model number MR something here. You can see, right? MIR 9A. This is the model which Apple can identify this material for, right? But you see, this company Best Buy is identifying the same model with a name called as SKU 5998503, right? So this company is giving a different name for particular this material. Why? For it's easy for them to identify because, as I mentioned, sometimes there is a chance that from two vendors you can have a same name for the product, right? So this is SKUs, stock keeping units. So in our scenario, let's say if this customer 1000 is buying a material called as 100, I want to call it with a name called as SKU 103. Okay, that means tomorrow if a user is placing an order for a material 100, he will not be placing the order with this name. He will be placing an order with this name. Your user might be confused. What is this SKU 103? We don't have any material called as SKU 103, right? So how do you handle that ambiguity? Let me show you. So let me save. I put this record is already there. But anyway, let us save. So let me reload it. VD52. I'll go for a change mode because I guess that record is already existing. Right. So this is the record. So if this customer is buying this material 100, we want to call this material with the name called as SKU 103. Right. So if I go and create a sales order for 100 material, let's say we received a purchase order from this customer, and he placed an order for SKU 103 100 quantity. But as I mentioned, as a company, we don't sell any product called as SKU 103, right? So at that time, what user will be doing? User will be entering that particular SKU number here. You see, customer material number. This is the material number which we would be using in our records, right? But now we don't have anything like this. So we have customer material number. Right? So what is the customer number we are calling with? We are calling with that is SKU 103, right? So user will be entering SKU 103 here and quantity, let's say 1. I'm just giving 1. You see this field is still blank, right? So we entered this name, what customer would be calling this material with, quantity, and this field is blank. But if I press enter, the system has automatically filled this field, right? That means user need not to really remember this all things. So if vendor is placing an order with say, as a customer is placing an order with say SQ103, he just enter that name here and press enter. System will automatically call up if a CMIR record is already maintained for that, right? So this is how we call. So if you want to see what all details you maintained for this particular customer material combination for CMIR, you can click on this ordering party. So ordering party will have the data of CMIR. You can see purchase order item, let's say 10, customer material number, what he's calling with, how much quantity, like everything, whatever we will be maintaining the CMIR data, you can see here in the ordering party, right? So now let's go back to CMIR and see there are some controls. I told you, right, there are 9 fields. Let us see what are the 9 fields. So what is the criteria to determine plant into sales document? Anyone?
First
Anyone?
is
What is the
CMIR.
criteria to determine plant into sales document?
CMIR.
Customer master and material master.
No one? Sorry, I hope I could not hear you. Don't know why. Just a moment. Yeah. Can someone? Yeah. What is the criteria to determine plant into sales document? Anyone? It is CMIR. I hope I could not hear you. Some audio issue. Yeah, that is CMIR. Sorry, and customer master and material master. This is the criteria. So with this combination, if you go to the details, you see a couple of fields here. That means if this customer is buying these materials, plant. So you want system to consider this as the plant. So what is the criteria to determine plant into sales document? System will first check here for the customer and material you maintained any plant. If not, you go to customer master, then it go to the material master plant. Then next is delivery priority. See, we already maintained delivery priority in the customer master in the shipping tab. But here you want to overwrite it. If this customer is buying this material, I want it to be something else. It's up to you. See, you can leave it like that. This is automatically taking from the customer master. If you want to overwrite it, you can overwrite it here for this material and customer combination. Likewise, minimum delivery quantity. This only one field is coming from material master. If not, these all other fields are coming from customer master. Only this field, minimum delivery quantity, comes from the material master. In the material master sales org one view, we have this field called as minimum delivery quantity. That means if this customer is buying this material, I want delivery quantity to be only 50. If not, for all other customers in the material master, I want it to be 100. By default, it is 100 in the material master. But if this customer is buying this material, then I want it to be only 50. Right? The next is a partial delivery per item. So this is also again coming from the same customer master shipping tab. So the same fields. So out of this complete the CMIR, what is the unique field? This is the unique field, item usage. Okay, and you see in the interview, not recently, but at least 6 months or 1 year back, they asked a question in the interview. Can you tell me one field which is a control data? Usually what we do, we just go through only these particular fields, right? We never see the headings of the blocks. This is customer material, this is shipping, this is partial data, right? But in that interview, they asked a question, can you tell me one field which is a control data? Because you see, item usage, this field is a control data field, right? So have some good idea about the screen. Just only don't mug up by the fields. Have some idea about the screen. Okay, so this is the question. So what can you tell me one field which is a control data? Item usage is a control data field. So what is item usage? So what is an item category and how an item category determines into sales document? So I'll do one thing. I'll go ahead because I hope I could not hear your voices. So I'll be putting the questions, but I could not hear you. So I'll be continuing, right? So what is the item usage? See, we have an item category, right? In the last session, in the material master, we discussed that what is an item category and how item category comes into sales document. So how item category comes into sales document? That is through a concept called as item category determination, right? Item category comes into sales document basing upon a concept called as item category determination. So what are the parameters we have in item category determination? That is sales document type, right? Sales document type, that can be say OR. Then next, item category group, right? Item category group, which we have seen in the material master sales org 2 view, right? item category group and general item category group. We have seen couple of field, right? So it is norm, standard. And what is the third parameter? That is item usage. So from where system takes this item usage? From here, right? So document type is standard, but with whichever the document you want to create a sales order, you decide and you'll get entry. But item category group will be taken from material master, sales or to view, and item usage will be picked from this field. So what is item usage? It is one of the parameter which will help us to determine item category into sales document. Okay. This is for the automatic item category determination. What do you mean by automatic item category determination? Right? See, item usage, again, we have a couple of values like this norm, bands, BANC, 0001, 0002, like this. We also have values for item usage. So what are the values we have item usage? So item usage we use by default for the automatic item category determination. Anyway, we will discuss the concept called as item category determination later. At that time, you will be getting a complete idea on this concept. But at the moment, okay, if you don't understand also, don't worry. So later when we discuss item category determination, you will be thoroughly understanding it. So what is item usage? See, if I want to determine item category called as TANN, free goods, TANN. By default, with automatic item category, how system determines, that is OR, norm, standard, item category group, item usage is free, and higher level item is TAN. This combination is already set up in the system, and system identifies this as a free goods. So from where this is item usage is coming? From here. This is automatic item category determination. That means system by default will understand this is a free goods because of this particular item usage. Okay. This is automatic item category. If you want to change it, you can change it. You can change a TAN to ZTAN. You can change TANN to ZANN, right? But system will not identify now this as a free goods. Until unless you mention free, system will not identify, right? So this is automatic item category determination for which item usage will be used. And we have a couple of values actually. So for free goods, it is free. Cross-selling, CSHP, batch split, material determination, PSA1, PSA2, PSCL, PSHP, and the STO, V. Like this, we have a couple of options of item usage. Anyway, as I told you, when we discuss the concept called of item category determination, again, we'll thoroughly discuss this, right? But at this moment, this is one of the parameters which will help us to determine sales item category into a sales document. Okay, one of the parameters which will help us to determine item category into the sales document, right? So this is what the CMIR concept is all about. That's it. CMIR, we finished. So with this, we finished all the master data concept. We finished customer master, we finished material master. We also finished CMIR. Now let's go ahead and discuss introduction to the sales, OTC process. Okay, OTC process, that is standard business process. See, there are two things. Don't be confused between these. There are sales process, there are special sales process, and there is business process. Different. These three are different. What is business process? Business process is the process, the way your customer intended to do the business, how they want to do the business. Some businesses are made to stock business, OTC. Some business are third-party business, trading business. Some businesses are make to order business. You place an order, then only they manufacture and give it to you, right? Business process will tell the way your customer want to do the business. That is business process. And every business process will include sales process, right? Every business process will include sales process. That means, see, I can say make to order. That is a business process. But what does that make to order contains? It contains again the same thing: quotation, order, delivery, billing. It contains all the sales process. These are called a sales process. So a business process will have sales process. So don't confuse between sales process and business. What is special sales process? Special sales process are called as, like, say, cash sales, rush order. These are special sales process. That means every business has quotation, order, these things, but only very few businesses will have cash sales, rush order, right? So these processes will be only for very few businesses. That is special sales process, right? So whatever we are discussing now, they are sales process. Let us have understanding on sales process. We are not discussing about business process. If you want to know what is the sales process, this is called an OTC process, order to cash. Okay. Under the order to cash, you have all the sales elements. Every sales element you'll be having, right? So first, let's try to understand what is a sales process and what elements we'll be having in a sales. Okay, how do a sales start? How do a sales start? A sales will start. So there is again sales and pre-sales. Okay, this is pre-sales and this is sales. Okay, this is pre-sales activity. So how does a pre-sales activity will be start? With a customer inquiry. So customer will inquire with a product for a product. That's how a sales will be initiated. And what all the options customer have to inquire about a product? How can he reach you, the company? So he has many options, right? He can reach the company by email, walk-in, or phone call, or by filling some form on the website. It can be anything, any means a customer can inquire. He can use any means to inquire about the product. And see, you should also know which is a internal document and which is an external document. Okay, there are some internal documents and there are some external documents. Inquiry is an internal document. That means if customer inquired for some product, what we do, we create an inquiry internally. We don't send this to the customer, right? This is only for our internal purpose. For internal our records only we use it, right? So this is inquiry is a internal sales process. Sorry, internal document which we use for our company reference. So with reference to the inquiry, we create a quotation. There is no purpose of creating a quotation and keeping with you, right? There's no. So unless until you send this quotation to the customer, there is no purpose creating it or keeping it with you, right? So quotation is our outward document. That means which you send to the customer. So with reference to this inquiry, whatever the material customer was inquiring, you create a quotation with what the material customer is inquiring and what would be the price, what is the delivery date. You mention all these details and send it to the customer. So once you send it to the customer, if customer is okay with the price, quantity, delivery date, and terms and conditions, everything, then what he do? He'll place a sales order, right? He will tell you to proceed, and then you create a sales order. Sales order is again an internal document, but what you send to the customer, you send order confirmation. Okay, you send order confirmation to the customer, right? So once you create a sales order, then next you need to do a delivery to the customer, right? You create a delivery and you raise an invoice to the customer. So one cycle of sales is finished. That means it started with an inquiry with the product, then after quotation, order confirmation, then delivery and billing, right? So let's assume that payment is also received from the customer and one transaction has been completed. But now the real action will start, right? So what is that new real action? That is customer complaints. Customers start complaining. The product is defective, it is expired, or you have sent me some other product. What you have not sent what I requested. You have sent something else, right? So customer, this is customer complaints. So whenever you get some complaint from customer, so how do you attend that particular complaints? That is, you have different ways. See, the complaint can be in different way. That means how you handle is you have two choices. Whenever you get a complaint from customer, you have two choices. What are the two choices you'll be having? That is replacing the damaged stock with good material. So if customer saying that there are 10 material damaged, then what you do? You replace the 10 material. That's one option. What's the other option you have? Without replacing the material, just giving back the customer money for that particular 10 quantity. Okay, so only these two options would be there, right? So at any times, if customer is saying that I don't want this stock, you just take it back. It's a good quality stock. It's a good quality stock, but customer don't want it. If he is returning it, then you take standard returns, and you can take the stock and again you sell it to some other customers, right? But if customer is saying that I want my money back, then you create credit memo. That means at any time if you want to give some money to the customer, then you create a credit memo. So for what purposes you create credit memo, we'll discuss that in detail later. We'll discuss all the 17 process. There are total 17 processes. We'll discuss all the 17 process in detail. Okay. But now, just as an introduction, first to get some clarity, right? So credit memo. That is, if you want to give money to the customer at any time, that you do it with credit memo. Okay. There might be some times where you need to receive extra money from customer. See, you raised the invoice to the customer, but he has not paid. Okay, so now you want to charge a late payment fee or some interest. How do you charge that extra? That you charge extra through debit memo. Okay, so at any time if you want to receive or there is some mismatch in the previous billing, you underbill the customer. Now you want to adjust that. So how do you adjust? You ask for a debit memo, right? So that is how you can handle the customer complaints. The next is you see something here called as written contracts. What is a contract? A contract, it's an agreement between both the parties where both the parties should have benefit. Okay, if I say contract, what is a contract? A contract is a mutual agreement between both the parties where both the parties should have mutual benefit in that. Right? Then only we say it as a contract, right? So again, this contracts is classified into different contracts. That is, we have quantity contract, we have quantity contract, we have value contract uh, general, we have value contract material specific. Like this again, it's called as master contracts, which is classified again as a contract. So let's see what is quantity, which is quantity contract. What is quantity? So let's say my company is a cement company and I have a builder, right? So this builder intends to construct some 5-story building, okay? And for this 5-story building, the estimation of cement is 5,000 bags. 5,000 bags of cement is the estimation. It's a very good number, right? 5,000 bags. So what this builder will be doing is he gets into a cement company for an agreement saying that I'll be consuming 5,000 bags of cement. What benefit cement company will get? What benefit the company will be getting? Assured sales. And assured with a contract, you will get an assured sales of quantity. So what is the benefit company is getting? Company is getting assured sales of 5,000 bags. So let's say in the market, if it is 300 per bag, company is offering 280 per bag. That means 20 rupees or $20 discount on per bag. So what is happening here? Mutual benefit. The company is getting assured sales of 5,000 bags, and the builder is getting a discount, you can say, or a best price on the product, right? But a contract will always have validity period. See, if the builder is saying that I'll consume this 5,000 bags over next 2 years, will that make any sense? No, right? So it should be mutually benefiting. That means if builder says that I'll complete this 5,000 bags in 6 months, okay, fix 6 months from one customer 5,000 bags is a good number, right? So a contract will always comes with a validity period. You take any contract, it can be rental agreement or any contract will comes with a service agreement. Anything will come with a validity periods. So this is what a quantity contract. where both the parties agree on the quantity. Likewise, we have value contract. Again, value contract, we have material specific or in general. Let's discuss first in general. Value contract, general. Let's take some company which sells 100 different materials. Okay, company X sell 100 different material. Here we don't discuss about quantities. Here the customer is telling that in the next 6 months I will buy $10,000 from you. Okay, I'll buy $10,000 worth of goods. So there is no material mentioned. He is telling that I'll give you this much value to you in the next 6 months. But I have some material. Let's say my company sell 10 materials. Out of that, there are some materials, let's say some 3 materials, which are very hard selling materials. Huge demand for these 3 materials. See, when we give some offer, when it is not saleable, right? So if it's not good in the market, if it's not, the sales are not good, then only we give offer. But these 3 materials has a huge demand. It's a hard selling. Why I should give offer or include within this 10,000? So we don't include these 3 materials. So we tell customer that for that, what we do in the value contract general, we create an assortment module. We create an assortment module and we place materials whatever the customer is eligible to buy with this $10,000. So for sure he cannot buy these 3 materials. Another 7 materials are there. Out of the 7 materials also, I will tell customer that you can buy material 1, material 4, material 7, material 10. With this $10,000, you are eligible to buy only these 3 materials. Then only you will get benefit. My company sell 10 different materials, but customer is eligible to buy only these four materials under this deal. So again, company is getting an assured sales of a value of $10,000, and customer is getting some best price on these materials. That is value contract general, where we create assortment module and assign it to the value contract. Likewise, we have value contract material specific. That means agreeing on only one material. You buy material X for $10,000 value. I give best price on this, right? That is value contract material specific. So very important, whatever the sales order we create with reference to a contract is called as release order. So in interviews also they ask this question, what is release order? Okay, or what is the order called which is created with reference to contract? What we call it? We call it as release order. Okay, any order created with reference to contract is called as release order. Why? See, we agreed on a contract for 5,000 bags of cement, but will customer consume all this 5,000 bags in a single day? He cannot do it, right? Out of 5,000, on March 25th, he wants 1,000 bags. So what you do? You, with reference to this contract, you create a sales order for 1,000 quantity. That means you are releasing some quantity out of the contract, right? So we call it as release contract. Important introduction. Then next, something you are seeing called as scheduling agreement, right? What do you mean by scheduling? Standard general English, what do you mean by scheduling? That is predefined, right? The date, time, everything is predefined. That's called as scheduling agreement. That means in the scheduling agreement, see, in the contract, we agreed for 5,000, but over a period of 6 months, but we don't know on what date customer need the material. So whenever customer places a order saying that, okay, I want 1,000, then you create an order. But coming to the scheduling agreement, the quantity and delivery date is prefixed. So if it is 5,000 quantity, okay, 25th March, 1,000 quantity. April 17th, 1,000 quantity. In May, customer cannot take anything. On June 5th, 1,000 quantity. That means that the date and quantity is predefined in the scheduling agreement, right? And very important, you should notice here, you see, for a contract, you are creating an order, then delivery, then billing. But for the scheduling agreement, you see, there is no connection with the order, direct delivery. Why direct delivery? Why we create a sales order? We create a sales order to get schedule lines. Okay, we create a sales order to get a schedule lines. What is schedule line? Confirmed quantity plus confirmed delivery date is called as schedule line. Confirmed delivery date plus confirmed quantity is called as schedule line. So schedule line is one part of sales order. We create sales order to get schedule line. But here the schedule lines are already predefined, right? On what date, what quantity you should deliver. Then what is the purpose with the sales order? No purpose, right? So we create directed delivery with reference to a scheduling agreement. Conceptually, it is possible. Conceptually, it is possible telling that we don't need a sales order, we can create directly with delivery. But technically, it is not possible. System will not allow you to do that. Okay. Where is that configuration? When it comes to the delivery types, we'll discuss it. I'll show you the configuration where exactly system is allowing you. There is already a predefined configuration set up in the system. That's the reason system is allowing you to do a delivery. If not, without a sales order, you cannot create a delivery. Right? These are some elements of a sales. I hope you got some basic idea of sales process, how it works. But there are total 17 sales process, which we will be discussing in detail in the tomorrow session, starting with the inquiry. What is the process? How do we create that in the system? And what impacts will happen? See, who creates this all inquiry, quotation, delivery, credit memo, debit memo? Who creates in the real time? End users will do that. But why as a consultant we are learning this? Because to better understand, see, customer will come saying that there is some issue. You should understand, right, where that issue was affecting. That means, as a consultant, you should understand what all activities system will perform in the background once you create a sales order. It is not that how to create a sales order. Okay, anyway, you should know how to create a sales order. But as a consultant, you should know one extra thing, that is what all activity system is triggering once you create a sales order. That we'll discuss in detail very much tomorrow, right? So that's it for today. Introduction to the sales and the CMIR. Tomorrow we'll catch up and tomorrow we'll continue with this. Maybe at least we can discuss 7 to 8 processes tomorrow. This may require 2 sessions. So up to credit memo, up to credit memo, invoice correction also we can finish. Up to 9 process we can finish tomorrow. Rest we can finish it in other day, right? So any questions you can put it in the chat box. I hope I could not hear your voice.
Am I audible, sir?
No questions, so we'll take it tomorrow. We will take the questions tomorrow because I could not hear you. There's some audio issue, I could not hear you. So we'll take the questions tomorrow, right? So the 2 videos have been uploaded onto the drive, so please go through them. And this video also I'll try to upload it today itself. So see you all and catch up tomorrow. Please, any questions, I'll take it tomorrow, right? Good day.